clinical research, and clinical service support. Through this, they are trying to improve the fracture care in low income and middle income countries. We always respect and want the feedback for view. During the program, all the participants will be remain muted. So please, your question, your remarks, your recommendation, your suggestion, please put on the chat box so that we can take this question for the discussion and we can take your recommendation, suggestion for our further improvement. Now, may I request Dr. Javed Jahangir Tuhin to present his lecture on reduction, principle of reduction of common fractures.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, Tuhin, please start with a loud voice.
Thank you, sir. It's very difficult for me to stand here with you. The broken heart, you already know the sad demise of our Dr. Samir Islam. He is like elder brother to me. We're very close. Anyway, we have to go on. Respected moderator, panelists, dear orthopedic surgeon and residents, I welcome to all you today's AU Alliance live webinar on close reduction technique and common plaster technique for common fracture. Let's look the learning outcome of today's talk. The common fracture that can be treated with non-operative method and plaster immobilization. The prerequisite for common fracture reduction, technique of reduction, and anesthesia analgesia that can be used in fracture reduction. So what are the prerequisites? A well-equipped plaster room or operative room, adequate anesthesia and analgesia, competent assistant, plaster material and accessories, and fluoroscopy. Not that all fracture needs reduction. So we have to identify which fracture needs reduction, and if needs reduction, done, which is done by traction, counter traction, and manipulation. And reduced fracture should be kept in position until clinical fracture union occur by plaster or some form of immobilization. Constant supervision with periodic radiological assessment should be done whether fracture is redisplaced within the plaster or it progressed to union. And rehabilitation should be started at the very beginning of starting treatment. So what are the principles? Adequate analgesia and muscle relaxation. And we have to know the fracture personality, location of the fracture, pattern of fracture, and also we should know the demography of the patient, demand of the patient. We have to restore and correct the length, correct the angulation, correct the rotational malalignment. And last one, immobilize the joint above and below of the fracture site. Let us look clockwise, the first picture shown, the surgeon is providing traction, assistant is providing counter traction. In the second picture, we see manipulation and 3-point fixation of the fracture. The assistant is holding the fracture while surgeon is completing the plaster. This is the basic steps of close reduction and plaster immobilization. In this fracture model, you see this concave side, have the intact soft tissue and periosteal hinge, and in the convex side, the periosteum and soft tissue is broken. So what needs for the reduction? The reversal of mechanism of injury.
can be done either by removing the cast or by splitting or by making window. If someone planned to make a window at the time of padding, he have to make an identification point of sight of window. That window should be cut with plaster saw, lift of the window, padding should be removed, and after examination, replaced and strapping should be done. Skin complication including dermatitis, pressure sore, necrotizing fasciitis, etc. the commonest complication of cast. Thermal injury, joint stiffness, muscle contracture, disease osteopenia, pathological fracture, air compartment syndrome are other complications of cast. Be very cautious to remember that no plaster is better than bad plaster. Bad plaster with simple injury can produce this type of scenario. In this slide, you are seeing some common complications of skin due to plaster that include dermatitis, soft tissue necrosis, pressure sore with eschar, and even with exposed bone and fascia. Most of the patients having plaster are usually discharged on the day of application of plaster. At the time of his discharge, patient should be instructed about the time and place of next outpatient attendance. He or she should be advised to elevate and exercise of his immobilized limb to reduce the chance of deep vein thrombosis. We have to ensure regular radiological review of the patient. Instruction about wound dressing and weight bearing should be clearly demonstrated to him. Patient should also be instructed about how to recognize and what to do if any complication arise. Families and patients are instructed to refrain from placing anything in between the cast and the patient's skin to irritate. If you fail to confirm that, you can find bracelet, ice cream stick, coin, or toys at the inner side of the cast. At the time of cast removal, at first we have to assure our patient that it will cause no harm to him and follow a line which is not over the bony prominences. By cutting the plaster, we have to lift up the front part of the plaster and divide the padding. Limb should be free from the plaster very gently. If we fail to ensure an adequate use of cast saw injury can occur. This 7-year-old girl with fracture radius ulna presented to orthopedics outpatient department. He was treated by close reduction and application of long arm full plaster. But you see, the plaster was not adequate. The plaster was with excessive amount of padding as well as excessive amount of casting. The length of the cast was not adequate. Proximally it was short, distally it was long. The result is the loss of reduction. On the next day, X-ray show angulation and displacement of fracture both in AP and lateral view. The patient was advised to change the plaster and do the plaster again. After removal of the initial caster, the fracture fragment were reduced, and after reduction, cotton padding was applied. Extra strip of cotton was placed to the convexity of the elbow, and cotton was rolled high to the axilla to ensure the soft upper edge of the padding. Here, stockinage was not used. At the time of casting, plaster roll was not lifted of the cast but kept in contact, and initial molding was done side by side. And final molding was done by using the palm of the surgeon. Interosseous molding was done by using the thumb of the surgeon. The plaster was splitted and spreaded to reduce the pressure. This X-ray was taken after 2 weeks that demonstrate well maintenance and oil reduction and more improved fitting of the cast. At the end, home messages to you all are, look, not only the patient in plaster, but also the plaster applied on them. Always maintain good reduction and limb position. Always practice adequate padding and molding of the cast, and ensure follow-up of the patient with periodical X-rays. Identify and manage complications as early as possible. And remember always, no plaster is better than bad plaster. Thank you for your patience hearing.
Thank you, Dr. Tariqul Alam Noman, for your nice presentation. Now the question and answer. First question to Dr. Tariqul Alam Noman. Question from Dr. Mahesh Srivastava from Nepal. Besides plaster of Paris, bandage and fiber cast, what is the latest product used for the fracture immobilization? Dr. Tariqul Alam Noman.
Thank you, sir. By your question, I feel honored. Nowadays, it is the time of technology. You know, soft roll. This is the latest padding material that we use to make our plaster effective. This soft roll can ensure the adequate molding of the plaster. Along with our adult patient, we can use this to the pediatric group of patient with very satisfaction.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tariqul Alam. Second question also to you from Dr. Mahesh Srivastava. What is cast index and what is its significance?
Actually, cast index is a measurement. By cast index calculation, we can assess the adequacy of molding. In case of forearm, cast index should around 0.7. It means that if we be able to mold the forearm plaster adequately, then the AP diameter by side to side diameter will be 0.7, and the shape of the plaster will convert to a cylindrical one. And by assessing the cast index, we can ensure how much molding is exercised to that specific plaster. If the molding is okay, that is cast index is close to the standard level, then the chance of reduction will minimum.
Okay, next question by Dr. Sardar. Layers of cast in upper and lower limbs. Professor Amjad Hossain, sir, please. Layers of cast in upper and lower limbs.
Layer of plaster.
Yes, sir.
Layer of plaster.
How you practice
Well,
it?
It varies again from person to person. When a big fat man, he needs 20 layers. When a thin man, he needs 12 to 16 layers for lower limb. Upper limb, I think 12 to 8 layers. If I am correct.
Sir, can I
Surya, can you supplement?
Sir, these layers vary. These layers varies from plaster of Paris and fiberglass.
Yes, that's a good question. Yeah.
The principle is it has to be stable. Usually 6 to 8 or 8 to 12 layers can sufficiently do this.
Plaster of Paris. 8
to 10 in the lower, maybe 6 to 8 maybe in upper limb.
Yes.
The thing is that it is varies between upper and lower limbs, between 6 layers to 12 layers. And you have to adjust in plaster of Paris like that, but they will need less layers in case of fiberglass plasters. I think I would like to supplement one thing with first question to Dr. Tariqul Alam from Mahesh Srivastava. I think he was looking for the question, as I can see, he is looking for something which newer that has come up. These are some plasters have come up. I forgot the name exactly now. These are porous and these are water friendly. So in advance to the synthetic plaster that we have been used for long, newer plaster has come up. This is diced. You can be diced. Simply you can apply and you can use it. You can swim with it. So there's nothing wrong. So these are the advantages that has come up. Newer advantages has come up.
Can you? I mean, he has written it. He has written it. Mahesh Taba.
This is very costly.
Mahesh Taba written it. Please mention it again. Srivastava. Can you unmute him? Let him speak on it, because he knows the real answer. The latest technology.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Yes. Now, since a long time we are using POP plaster, fiberglass plaster. Now the new product is polyester cast.
Polyester cast, yes.
It's a polyester cast.
Right, yeah.
It is much better than fiberglass and the POP.
What is it called?
It is very light.
Polyester cast, sir.
Polyester cast.
What is it called? What is it called?
Polyester is a
Polyester,
cotton,
right.
yes,
Yes,
polyester is a cotton material. It's with some gelatin form. So now
Yeah.
it is widely used. It is much lighter,
Yeah,
and it is much better than the other cast.
But
Yeah,
very
yeah, polyester,
The
yeah.
latest one is being used.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, thank you very much. Go on, next question.
Tariqul Alam Noman, I am calling you. Please, you hold up your phone when I will call you. Then the next question is, in case of proximal humerus fracture and shaft fracture of humerus, what cast should be applied? Professor Parvez Hassan, please.
Yes, in case of proximal humerus, it is U-cast will be better. But in case of shaft fracture, long arm backslap will be the better.
Can I supplement something?
Yes. In case of
Can I supplement?
okay.
Yes, Dr. Webji Kibria, please.
See, in a proximal humerus fracture, if you put an U-cast,
Yeah.
the cast becomes very loose and patient is unable to sleep. As an alternate, you can apply the shoulder immobilizer. There are synthetic immobilizers. It is the hand along the body of the side, and it is body the plaster. So you can use that. Otherwise, if you are using a U-cast for a upper proximal humerus fracture, it's very cumbersome. Patient cannot sleep. And for fracture humerus, the principle of embolization is that you have to go proximal to that. If you have given a long arm backslap, and usually the fracture plaster end has come the fracture end, so it becomes more painful. So if it is a shaft fracture, if it is a mid shaft, you can go for a U-cast. If it is a lower third fracture, you can go for a long arm backslap. In a proximal, you can simply use a immobilizer for the shoulder. This is my advice.
The U-cast, okay, fine.
Another question is by Sardar, and he asked to Hamza sir directly, mention it. Sir, question is how much angulation can be corrected by wedging and when to do it?
By
How
wedging.
much angulation can be corrected by wedging, by the wedging of the plaster? And which one is the appropriate time to do it?
A tricky question, I think, very tricky. So actually, in our time, we used to do a lot of correction by wedging plaster, by cutting it, and then in the angulation side, when we need to correct it, we used to measure it well by. But it is not that within I think within 3 weeks to 6 weeks maximum. Because by this time, by 3 weeks is a good time, around 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks is a good time. Otherwise, it causes some sort of callus formation and more stickiness. So in that case, very difficult. And angulation really, I don't think it is not exactly. I don't know exactly how much angulation can be accepted. Anybody can supplement, including Kibria or others. But I think 30 degree is maximum. What I believe. Yeah.
Okay, Kibria, please.
Okay.
Kibria.
So once you have done a full plaster, full cast, and
Yes.
You want a correction the next day, you can do it. But you have to check every week. But you have to cut at the proper place up to 3/4 even by putting an open side. If it is a closed one, that's the opposite side. But 30% can be, because there is a problem of stretching and compression at the side. So 30% is a average line. Yes, that can be corrected. Right.
30%, yeah.
30 degree.
30 degree.
Right.
Then another question from Major Nazmul. What are the things we have to do to maintain a good plaster? Professor Parvez Hassan, please. What are the things we to do to maintain a good plaster?
Yes, thank you. Actually, good plaster means you have to have a, I mean, you have to good reduction, and you have to maintain the good plus. I mean, good plaster means you have everything you have to made available, like good assistant, good. I mean, you have to make the soft roll in a perfect way. You have to hold the fracture site. You have to, if required, you have to adequately go wedging. So everything should be available to have a good plaster.
Can I supplement, sir?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Dr. Webji
Yes.
Kibria.
Application of plaster and to maintain it properly, it starts with the day one application. That means when you are applying the plaster up to the correct length, that is the first thing. You have to mold it in the appropriate size, that is for holding the plaster. If you need, you have to split it and check every week the fracture condition. And at the day one, you have to do some rehab program at the same time, like the parts that are not immobilized, they should be moved. So these are certain criteria to keep in mind so that you get a good result. If you see after a week, the plaster has become loose, you have to remove it and reapply. So the steps are, you apply appropriately up to the proper length, allow free parts which are not immobilized to move, and follow it up regularly. So these are the principles to have a good results from application of plaster.
I want to add something in addition to that, please. What I feel and what we are practicing, even a few days back, we have been talking also about it, that we are not going to put full plaster. That is what is called cast in the Western, media or Western books. Cast is completely circulated plaster, which should not be applied. I would request my colleagues not to apply it when a major trauma patient comes to us. Initially, what we do, two-third or one-third or one-half of the circumference should be applied. That is we call back slap or slap. Slap should be applied initially, and then 3 to 4 days. Particularly, no synthetic or polyester will be used. I mean, initially, no. It should be at least 3 days to 7 days should be used. Whatever it is, initially, no back full plaster, only allowed if the patient stays in hospital. If it is under total care in your clinic or your home, then you can use it. Otherwise, please apply back slab or slab. I mean, not full circumferential, half circumferential, two-third circumferential, and after 7 days, 5 days, 7 days, let him come and then apply your plaster. That is the best way to, have a very good side. Otherwise, you may end up with a very bad situation. Thank you.
One announcement, you all please remain here in the meeting. At the end, we will pray for our beloved surgeon, Shomirul Islam Babu, at the end. So please, you all are requested to stay since the end of the meeting so that we all can pray for him together. Now, the question to Dr. Webji Kibria, what are the indication of hanging cast? It is the question of Dr. Arifuzzaman.
See, usually we used to use hanging cast in children cases where there is a proximal humerus or middle shaft humerus fractures. Put a weight, but I'm still doubtful whether it works or not. But we apply that so that by gravity it comes back. But you see, in children, they are sleeping in the night, they are sleeping in between. Even if you apply the hanging cast, it may not work. And sometimes in supracondylar fracture, you can hang the limb above to reduce the edema, but that is a different thing. There's a dural obstruction. Usually hanging cast, we call in fracture humerus proximal part, if there is overlapping, when we want to get rid of reduction, we want to have some reduction by gravity and weight. So these are the common ones that we do it.
Okay, then another question. If the patient of fracture tibia fibula, patient is on long arm back slap, when we will convert it to a full plaster? Professor Amjad Hossain, sir, please.
I've just told it. I've just described it. Because in my view, I have been doing it for a long time, and I have seen so many complications in my own cases and others. So I would prefer it not to do initially, at least not full plaster. Or if the patient is admitted in my unit, in my hospital, in my close observation, in spite of that, I would always apply slabs. And then after 5 days, if I think that it's fine, the swelling has subsided, completely reduced, or more or less reduced, then I would go for full plaster. And then, as you know, the TVF will I say he's described long leg full plaster, and then I would tell him to follow up within 3 to 4 weeks. In spite of that, any complication, anything happens, please report immediately to the emergency. What I do in spite of delaying full plaster after 5 to 7 days.
Now we are at the end of our today's webinar. Heartiest congratulations all speakers and panel of experts, and we are very much thankful to all the participants from home and abroad. You make it successful. Our next webinar will be on 1st July on principles of management of pelvis and acetabular fracture. You are
Just a minute. I like to congratulate both the speakers, but they have been well prepared. They've been well presented, although they are not very senior, but still junior people, but they're well done. Please go on. Look, Kashem, go on.
Our next webinar will be coming Wednesday, 1st July, 3 to 4 p.m. on principles of management of pelvis and acetabular fracture. You all are cordially invited. Before end, may I request Dr. Tariqul Alam Noman to conduct a munajat to Almighty Allah so that he can keep the departed soul of the Dr. Samirul Islam Babu in peace. Dr. Tariqul Islam Noman, please, you conduct the dua session. After this dua, the webinar will be ended.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Actually, this is very tough for me because I have a lot of good memories with Professor Dr. Shomir sir. At the beginning of dua, we can recite Surah Fatiha at least one time and Surah Ikhlas for 3 times with silence.
এখানে বলে রাখো যারা religion, let them be on their own language, on religious manners. Okay.
Actually, for the foreign participants, we are doing a dua just like funeral for our late Professor Shomirul Islam in our own, according to our own religion. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا وقل رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا হে আল্লাহ, তুমি আমাদের সবাইকে মাফ করো। এই করোনা ভাইরাসের মহামারীতে যে সমস্ত আমাদের অর্থোপেডিক সার্জন এবং অন্যান্য যারা সারা দুনিয়াতে ইন্তেকাল ফরমাইছেন তাদের সবাইকে তুমি মাফ করো। আজকের এই বিশেষ মোনাজাত মরহুম ডাক্তার সমীরুল ইসলাম স্যারের জন্য। স্যার অত্যন্ত ভালো মানুষ ছিলেন। স্যার আমাদের পেডিয়াট্রিক অর্থোপেডিক্স সোসাইটির সাথে সংশ্লিষ্ট ছিলেন। যে কোনো বিপদ আপদে স্যারকে আমরা কাছে পেয়েছি। হে আল্লাহ, তোমার হাবিব বলছেন যে মানুষ ইন্তেকাল ফরমাইলে যদি 40 জন মানুষ বলে সে ভালো, তাকে তুমি ভালো হিসেবে গ্রহণ করো। আল্লাহ, আজকে আমরা 80 জনের মতো মানুষ বলতেছি যে আমাদের শ্রদ্ধেয় সমীরুল ইসলাম বাবু স্যার অনেক ভালো মানুষ ছিলেন। আল্লাহ, তুমি আমাদের এই ফরিয়াদকে কবুল করো, তাকে তুমি জান্নাত নসিব করো। সমীরুল ইসলামের স্যারের সাথে আমাদের চিকিৎসক সমাজের অনেকে আল্লাহ ইন্তেকাল ফরমাইছেন, তাদের সবাইকে তুমি জান্নাত নসিব করো। আমরা যারা এই মহামারী কালে আল্লাহ আমাদের জীবনের ঝুঁকি নিয়ে কাজ করতেছি, আমাদের সবাইকে এই জীবনের ঝুঁকি থেকে তুমি বাঁচাও। এই দুনিয়ার সমস্ত মুসলিমকে, দুনিয়ার সমস্ত মানুষকে, দুনিয়ার সমস্ত মাখলুককে আল্লাহ তুমি এই করোনার মহামারী থেকে বাঁচাও। আল্লাহ, আমাদের এই দোয়া থেকে যার হাতকে তোমার পছন্দ হয় তার হাতকে উসিলা করে তুমি আমাদেরকে মাফ করো। সমীরুল ইসলাম বাবু স্যারকে তুমি মাফ করো, তার সন্তপ্ত পরিবারকে আল্লাহ এই কষ্ট সহ্য করার তৌফিক তুমি দান করো। রব্বানা যালামনা আনফুসানা ওয়া ইল্লাম তাগফির লানা ওয়া তারহামনা লানাকুনান্না মিনাল খাসিরিন। সুবহানা রাব্বিকা রাব্বিল ইজ্জাতি আম্মা ইয়াসিফুন ওয়া সালামুন আলাল মুরসালিন ওয়ালহামদুলিল্লাহি রাব্বিল আলামিন।